The first half of the World Cup is over already, and the last few weeks just feel like a blur of getting up in the middle of the night 3 times a night panicking because my fantasy players got injured in the warm-up. But it's been brilliant. There has been upsets, disappointment, heartbreak, controversy, and whilst many questions have been answered regarding the potential of certain teams, just as many have emerged, leaving me in a bubbling sense of anticipation as we edge towards the quarterfinals. So let's talk about it. Who are the favourites, the contenders, who let themselves down, what can we expect over the next couple of weeks, and how many times can I predict the wrong result in one video? Pool A on paper is pretty simple. France and New Zealand battled for first place on the opening night with France coming out on top. The rest of the games expected to be walkovers. But if this World Cup has taught us anything, it's to never expect a walkover. And if Uruguay can keep up with France for 60 minutes, then anything is possible. This brings me to Italy. This is the best Italian side we've seen in a long time, and the Kiwis are more vulnerable than ever. Each team's finals hopes are riding on this game, so expect a classic. Personally, I expect the Italians to give the Kiwis a scare, but with the return of Frizzell and Geordie, I think the Kiwis will just get the job done. There's also a way that Italy could make it come down to bonus points between all 3 teams if they roll a DuPontless France next week. I've even heard people talking about France throwing the game to make sure the Kiwis get knocked out, which despite being awful would be pretty funny. Anyway, I see France topping the pool with New Zealand limping behind them after a bruising victory over Italy. Pool B has definitely lived up to the hype of the pool of death. Scotland getting strangled by the Box and not recovering for a fortnight. Everyone labelling the Box instant favourites. I have to admit it brought me a lot of joy seeing them get knocked down a peg by world number 1 Ireland last weekend. I mean, what a match. Yes, it was low scoring, but the Box terrorising line speed paired with the Irish decision making and silky passing was gorgeous to watch. Honestly, I don't know why everyone was so confident in South Africa winning. Ireland have been disgustingly good the last couple years and are number 1 for a reason. Box had the chance to win, but Le Box stood out like a sore thumb. A South African outfit cannot succeed without a goal kicker, so I can't see much faith in him moving forward. As it currently stands, no team has guaranteed qualification for the finals yet. Scotland are in the biggest danger of crashing out, needing 4 tries and a win by more than 7 against Ireland to overtake them in the pool. This can definitely be considered a pipe dream, but Finn Russell is the man. And if the Scottish pack can get front foot ball, we might just see an absolute clinic from Russell. There is also a way that South Africa don't qualify on points difference if all teams finish on 15 points, but this is very unlikely. You Bok fans can settle for now. The way I see it going, I think Russell will have an absolute blinder against Ireland and be the conductor of a World Cup classic, but I don't think it will be emphatic enough to get the win. Ireland are just too good at the moment, which would set up Ireland to play New Zealand and France to play South Africa in the quarters. Pool C has been excellent to watch, unless you're an Aussie. Every game seems to hold significance, keeping you on the edge of your seat. Wales have somehow managed to book themselves a final spot already despite being woeful in the lead-up. Fiji have been the story of the tournament so far, coming so close to downing Wales and then bouncing back to beat Australia. Georgia and Portugal produced a match for the ages with some scintillating attacking rugby and heartbreak for both teams in the final minute. Then there's the Wallabies who have showed up. I think every Australian will be punching holes in their walls after the embarrassment of the last couple weeks. For their sake, let's just hope they don't lose to Portugal as well. Fiji could secure a final this weekend if they can bag a bonus point win over Georgia, but the Georgians will be looking to cause an upset in order to keep their World Cup hopes alive. The Wallabies and Portugal can also technically still qualify, but yeah. Nah. I see Wales topping the group assuming they don't get flashbacks against Georgia. Fiji to finish second. Pool D for me has been pretty disappointing so far, which is probably amplified by my hate for the Poms. Other than Ford taking the piss out of the Argentinians taking droppies from 50, and the Chileans cheerfully navigating their way through their first World Cup, there hasn't been much to cheer about. It's been an error-ridden pool. Samoa have been a letdown following their promising warm-up against Ireland. Argentina have been both bland and boring, and Japan have been unimpressive. One of the reasons Japan have been so successful the last couple of World Cups is through their skill, execution and accuracy. But watching them against England, it was just uncharacteristically poor. But enough negativity. Despite a rough start, this pool still has a lot of potential with quarterfinal spots up for grabs. How it currently stands, England are almost definitely through, but Samoa, Japan and Argentina are all still in the running for the other spot. For Samoa, they need to channel some of that energy they brought to the island game. They don't need to match their opponents in skill, just bash them into oblivion. Make them scared to play their own game. Japan need to find their trademark precision, and Argentina need their big players to step up and play with the kind of passion and intensity we've seen in their wins against the All Blacks. There's still so much to play for in this pool over the next couple weeks, with 3 mouth-watering fixtures in Japan-Samoa, Samoa-England and Japan-Argentina set to determine who makes the cut. I'm going to be optimistic and say Japan will find form, winning their last 2 games to sneak into the finals behind England. This would set up England to play Fiji and Wales to play Japan in the quarters. This World Cup is just so intricate. It's really kept me on my toes. As fans, I think we expected a fair few surprises, but they seem to be coming from unexpected places, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to pick a winner. I mean, we've probably had 3 different favourites in the last 3 weeks, so it's safe to say that this World Cup and rugby as a whole is in a pretty good place right now. Unless you're Australian.